This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Okay, so we're starting off the Diddy trial today, part 3, okay, with Cassie taking the stand again. Inner City Press is there now. We've seen a lot of, it was worse than we thought. Let's just say that yesterday, okay? Like, Diddy took it to another level where he's rubbing other men's stuff all over. I mean, he's, But they haven't proved anything about Rico yet. So they didn't start hot like that, but they went right into Cassie. So they start everyone comes in, obviously family's present, and they had privacy screens installed today because I think they'll be showing some sexual videos today that she had and that they seized from Diddy's houses. Combs' lawyer, Alex Shapiro, says, I'm concerned that during the break there could be generalized discussions about the testimony that might come up. We are going to try to avoid any privileged communications. Then the government says, during Mr. Phillips' testimony, I spoke with his lawyer. They said, we anticipate these witnesses being on cross-examination for multiple days. We need to speak with them about security and transportation. The judge says, Miss Shapiro, I would say woman. Okay, this is Judge for Combs. Can you draft something on a piece of paper in instructions you would give? And then the government says, the defense has sent us a zip file of text messages. We are reviewing them before raising it. Judge, I appreciate that. Then the Comey, who's for the government. The defense has not shown us exhibits that may cross-examine of Miss Ventura. We are worried this will continue. They're probably trying to, they don't want them to cover all their bases right away. They want to have their shocking cross-examination of Cassie. Let's see who answers. Rule 16 does not contemplate these carve-outs. We are behind the 8 ball on this. We have compiled with Rule 16. I would be surprised if the government only has another 3 hours with Miss Ventura, but whatever. Yeah, because they're like, you guys are going to, really milk this one. You guys are going to have her on the stand for days. It's like the cross-examination won't start probably till tomorrow because this is their star witness. They gotta milk this one. So, Cassie walks in, and they say they started off with, I just handed you 2 drives to Cassie. What's on them? Cassie says, messages and photos from my devices. Then they say, yesterday you testified about Sean going armed looking for Suge Knight. Cassie says, yeah, Sean took guns with him. The government says, everything's going to be the government. There is no cross-examination yet. And they say, they told you to ask if escorts were cops. Cassie says, I would begin by saying I was not a cop. And then the government said, Sean told you to do that? And she said, yes. Then they said, what happened when you fought back? Cassie says, I did that more earlier in the relationship. It would make him more violent and push me harder. Defense objects, overruled. Then the government says, how would Sean react if you fought back? She said, anger. And they said, I'm going to show you the hallway again in the Intercontinental LA. Play from 143 to 146. Who enters? She says, Sean. What's in his hand? He doesn't appear to have anything, Cassie says. Play 159. Now is anything in his hand? She said, my phone. Then the government says, how did he get it? Cassie says, well, they took it off my stuff. Where does it end up? Sitting in a chair in front of the window. What are you doing? Cassie said, I'm walking away from him. Cassie. Now they say, now who's in the video? Okay, so this is boring stuff. Let's skip. Okay, so then she said she started writing text messages to him. And she said, that's me in a selfie with a fat lip. And that they say, okay, so you're in the Uber with one of your phones, they said. She says, when did you take it? They say, she said she got possession of one of her phones, basically. And then she wrote to Diddy, after that incident, please stay away from me. Okay. He writes back to her, I think I'm getting arrested. And the government says, was he? And Cassie says, I don't think so. And then they says, what did you write back? And Cassie says, plugging my phone in and going to bed. She didn't care. Well, of course she doesn't care. She just got beat down. Then the government says, who was at your home when you got there? Cassie says, Carrie Morgan. She was upset when she saw me. She called the police. Government, did you speak with them? Cassie, yes, but I didn't say who I was talking about, and they left. Government, why? I wasn't ready, she said. Government, did Sean try to come by your apartment? Cassie, yes, he was banging. It was pretty normal for him. This is pretty private building. Government said, did you hear from Miss Corinne that day? Cassie, yes. I went to see D-Rock and his wife to try and feel safe. Isn't D-Rock's Diddy's guy? In this photo, what do you wear? Okay, glasses. They're highlighting all the bruises that that would be pictured by paparazzi. Okay, so. Oh, okay. So now we're back to escorts. So they says, I'm going to show you some escorts. What's the name of this person? They just skip around, huh? In what city? So I'm going to show you some escorts. Do you know the name of this person? She said, no. She said, who's this one? She says, oh, that's Islander, Cassie says. He was a Latin man. We used him in L.A. and maybe Vegas. Cassie says, we called him Tommy. Who's this? Oh, I know him as Greg in Miami. So they're just going through. I guess they're going to have more escorts come in and give, be witnesses after Cassie. So then they say, Cassie, he pulled me. Okay, so then, did you try to avoid the freak-offs? The government says. She said, I tried to avoid. Oh, did you try to avoid anything in the freak-offs? Cassie said, I tried to avoid kissing. Seems too intimate, but Sean told me to do it, to kiss escorts. The government says, what did Sean ask you to do on your 29th birthday? Cassie said, a freak-off. She said, he had me pulled out a blind dragon for the freak-off, some security. Government says, what about blackmail material? Cassie said, he wanted me to fear him. Defense objection overruled, blah, blah, blah. What would Sean mention the freak-off videos? To hurt me. When would Sean mention the freak-off videos? She said, to hurt me. One time I was dating someone else and he threatened to release the freak-off videos. I have to answer to my mother. It's horrible and disgusting. No one should have to do that. Should do that to anybody. Government. What did Sean say the impact would be? She said shame. Okay, let me show you in the chat who's on it. She says, me and Sean, July 22nd, 2013. AOC, read your message. Cassie says, I wrote, please delete the videos off your phone. Too many people have access to your devices. He said, no, iCloud. It's all good. Ambient. And then he said, Ambient kicking in. Jeez, how did he get so much done with so much drugs? Government sidebar. Okay, they do like a sidebar thing. The judge takes a break to change some things in the court at 11. Let's see. They put some more privacy screens up because I guess they're going to be playing these videos. Then they go back. Government. What did you say here? Cassie says, I've been told there was sexually explicit video about me. I reached out to Sean. Then what? Cassie says, we were driving back to New York City from Atlantic City to talk to this DJ Who kid. Government, did that happen at a restaurant? What's the security's role? What's this? How would you recover from a freak off? She says, I'd take opiates. I'd want to feel numb. How often did you take opiates after freak off? She says, often. I got your UTIs. Jeez. This girl, she was like a little prosty. In a sense. I mean, it's sad, but it's like, She was moving like a prostitute out here. I've been told there was sexually... Okay, so... What's left here? Oh, here we go. Were the UTIs painful? She said, very. Antibacterials didn't work anymore. How did it feel during freak-offs? Burning. I wouldn't advise it. She says, I would have sores on my tongue. They said, what sores? Like friction in my mouth. From what? She said, oral sex. You said you got another UTI, then sad face emoji. Cassie says, I was open to him about them. Government, so you feel sick? Cassie, why are you sorry? I took the blame for things. Government, which escort? I guess that's a text message. The government, which escort would you go to sex club with you and Sean? Jules. What the hell? Yo, Diddy's like a real freak, bro. So names are being dropped. James Cruz is in the mix. He knew what was going on. I want to get to the part. Was Rick Ross ever around? Were rappers ever around? I want to get to that. Involve some rappers, because we know that the Rick Rosses, the French Montanas, the DJ Khaled's, they knew what was going on. Oh yeah, they knew what was going on because they're into the same stuff. The freaks, they're freaks, man. I'm telling you. We'll get to more of this. I'm going to let this build up for like 2 or 3 hours, and then we can have a good one. Because I don't know. I think today's going to be boring because I think they're going to show these videos that we can't see. You know, we can't see how weird Diddy is. We know how weird he is. I mean, who has a girl and then wants to watch her get smashed and destroyed by another guy? And then you want the fluids from the activity? I mean, come on. Just that alone. It's weird. Listen, this is in a way like karma for Diddy because Diddy's done so much bad stuff, right? And he felt invincible. Especially, think about it, he beat that shooting in the club incident in like 1999, 2000. Remember that? He felt invincible after that. Invincible. So he just got worse and worse and worse. Anyways, I'll check you guys in the next one. I got some news that's not related to this, dropping in about 30 minutes. Appreciate you all. Peace.